The final episode of Suits aired on September 25th, 2019. So for some, it may come as a surprise that the show is still a hot topic. Given the semi-cast reunion at this year's Golden Globes, the massive shattering of Nielsen streaming records, and the rumors of a new spinoff or even a revival, it's no wonder everyone is deeply invested in the show's future. So let's chat about the most recent updates and I'll give my thoughts. Also, with many riding the high of Harry's recent honor at the Living Legends of Aviation Awards and Meghan's recent red carpet domination, it's no wonder publications are searching high and low for a chink in the armor, growing so desperate to now claim Harry's overt adoration of his wife is too extreme. As a married woman, I not only found this ridiculous, because is there such a thing as wanting your spouse to be too happy, but I also found a few chinks in their armor as well. So we'll talk about it. Also, we celebrated in a big way when Prince Harry won his case against MGN. Well, things are going from bad to worse for the publisher, and it may be cause for another celebration sometime soon. And lastly, as Invictus Games gears up for Vancouver Whistler Games in 2025, we get a heartwarming story about some of its competitors. All that and more, so let's get started. Suits, suits, suits. My goodness. For this show to have been off the air for so long, I mean years at this point, it is the number one show on everyone's mind. And I'm not surprised. Now, it's even accomplished a feat that I did not think any show could accomplish, which is knocking The Office off the number one binge show top spot after over a decade. Suits is coming to play ball. And after shattering Nielsen streaming records, I am not surprised. Now, what this will result in, whether it's a reboot or a new spinoff or what have you, I'm excited to see. The whole cast looks amazing. They could absolutely pick up where they left off. So there is so much life left in the series. I think that's why people are so interested. So I'm interested in what you think. In the meantime, I want to talk about this article in Variety that talks about Suits taking the top spot from The Office. This article is in Variety and it's titled Suits Beats The Office Streaming Record in 2023. Nielsen reveals original streaming shows shutout of yearly top 10. And this article was written by Salome Hailu. Oh, I love that name. In a report analyzing TV viewership in the US throughout 2023, Nielsen found that Suits beat a record previously held by The Office for number of minutes watched in a single year. The legal drama racked up 57.7 billion total minutes watched in 2023, putting it just ahead of the 57.1 billion minutes of viewership accumulated by The Office in 2020. Wow. Now hold on. 2020 was the year pretty much everything shut down. So people were binging more than ever. And I know The Office was like the number one binge show because we were talking about it. For 2023, which was not a shutdown year, to have Suits beat out The Office when people were very much back at work is crazy. Like, I don't even think we can truly measure how much more successful that is, considering it's been not only 4 years at this point, but the year that The Office set that record, we were all shut down. I mean, we were watching Tiger King, for goodness sake. So, I mean, at this point, I'm surprised that we haven't gotten more talks from valid sources about what's going to happen next with the show, because that's huge. Anyway, let's continue. When comparing total time watched, though, projects with more episodes and or longer episodes stand at an obvious advantage. The entirety of Suits runs for about 83 hours, which would mean it had an easier time reaching the 57 billion minute mark than The Office did with about 73 hours of content. That may be true, however, another note to make on that is that yes, the Office has shorter episodes or what have you. However, The Office has been off the air for well over a decade. So at this point, for it to hold that record for so long and it to be so popular and have a lot longer to garner fans because it came out sooner, it went off the air earlier, and it's been binged a lot longer, I don't think that it has much to do with the length of the episode as much as it has to do with the success of Suits and people enjoying the show. And Abigail Spencer also had a hot take about why Suits had gotten this renewed interest, and I actually agree with her take more. We'll get there, but let's finish this. Still, Both the old record and the new one speak to Netflix's ubiquity in the streaming landscape. The Office aired its final episode on NBC in 2013, but continued to reach a huge audience until it was removed from Netflix at the start of 2021 and moved to NBCU owned Peacock. Suits concluded on the USA Network in 2019, and though it was already available to stream on Peacock, it didn't make waves until being acquired by Netflix. It should be noted that Nielsen solely measures US televisions, excluding viewership in other countries and on mobile devices. The report lays out the top 10 most streamed titles in 2023 overall, as well as 10 of the most streamed titles that were original to streaming platforms, the 10 most streamed acquired titles, and the 10 most streamed movies. Notably, 2023's overall streaming chart and acquired streaming chart were identical. Not a single streaming original broke into the top 10 this year. Again, that is affected by the runtimes of the projects on the chart. Long shows like Suits and NCIS were easily able to push out more current titles that have only aired a few seasons. At the same time, the absence of a single original title on the top 10 demonstrates that 2023, marked by the Hollywood strikes, lacked any major streaming event that reached the ubiquity of years past. For example, in 2022, though 8 of the 10 most streamed titles were acquired rather than original, the number one spot went to Stranger Things, which released its fourth and penultimate season that year, while the fourth and final season of Ozark boosted that show to fourth place. I didn't watch Ozark, but I got a lot of recommendations to watch it, and I never made my time to do it. Have y'all seen Ozark? And if so, was it good? Is it worth watching now? In 2023, the streaming original series with the most viewership was Ted Lasso with a total of 16.9 billion minutes. Impressive and surprising, as the comedy series hails from Apple TV, which has fewer subscribers than each of the other streamers measured by Nielsen. But that total still puts it almost 6 billion minutes behind the last titles on the overall top 10, which were Heartland and Supernatural, tied with 22.8 billion minutes watched. Wow, we watch a lot of TV in America. Behind Suits and ahead of Heartland and Supernatural, the most streamed programs of 2023 were Bluey, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, Cocomelon, The Big Bang Theory, Gilmore Girls, and Friends. 4 of the top 10 titles stream exclusively on Netflix: Grey's Anatomy, Cocomelon, Gilmore Girls, and Supernatural. Another 3 titles stream across Netflix and 1 or 2 other platforms. Suits Netflix is on Netflix and Peacock. NCIS is on Netflix and Paramount Plus, and Heartland is on Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock. Wow. So Heartland, you really falling behind because how are you on 3 streamers? One title streams exclusively on Disney Plus, which is Bluey, and the last 2 stream on Max, The Big Bang Theory and Friends. I'm not really happy with Max right now because they canceled rap shit. I am, however, going to watch the Little Nas X documentary because I need to know what goes on in that man's camp. And then I'm probably going to leave the streamer. Behind Ted Lasso, the streaming originals with the most viewership were The Night Agent, Ginny and Georgia, Virgin River, Love is Blind, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Gabby's Dollhouse, The Mandalorian, Outer Banks, and The Lincoln Lawyer. All stream exclusively on Netflix except for Ted Lasso, Jack Ryan, and The Mandalorian. The movies chart was dominated by children's content, with the top spot going to Moana and the following 6 spots going to kids titles as well. Encanto, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Elemental. I don't think the Super Mario Brothers movie was really for kids. That was for millennials. We love us some Super Mario. Minions, The Rise of Guru, Sing 2, Frozen, and the bottom 3 on the chart were franchise films for an adult audience, which was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Avatar, The Way of Water. Oh, I love that. And Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. All 3 of those were so good, and I saw all 3 of those in theaters. They were all really good. So I want to skip down because I feel like a lot of this is not Suits related. Yeah, so now we can actually move over to Abigail Spencer's comments. But before we do that, let me know, why do you think, aside from the length of the episodes, which is what Variety suggests, is the length of the episodes that really puts Suits at the top spot. Why do you think Suits is at the top spot? Now, my personal feeling is that Abigail Spencer's theory is more accurate, but I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. So let's move over to hear what Abigail Spencer credits Meghan, Duchess of Sussex's loveliness as one force behind Suits' resurgence 4 years post-finale. In November of 2023, the Duchess of Sussex called the legal drama everlasting while reacting to its wild comeback on Netflix. This was written by Esther Kane. Abigail Spencer says Meghan Markle's sparkle is one undeniable factor behind Suits' record-breaking comeback. During her appearance on Sirius XM's The Jess Cagle Show, the extended family star shared her layered opinions about the legal drama's massive resurgence and the newfound intrigue the Duchess of Sussex has given the series. Quote, I think there's several different things, she said, of the show's renewed interest. And also Meghan's loveliness, that everyone is aware of her and her being on the show. Spencer added that the resurgence may be in part because of the Duchess's 2022 Netflix docuseries with her husband, Prince Harry. The actress theorized that Suits, which shares the same platform, may be boosted by the streamer's algorithm. I hadn't even thought about that, but that is likely as well. Quote, also during the strike, there wasn't anything else, she continued. Netflix repositioned it, so I think there is something to positioning on Netflix, and when other things aren't being made, it commands your attention, but it has to be great for people to watch it. I was waiting for her to say that. Suits, which ran for 9 seasons from 2011 to 2019, also starred Patrick J. Adams, Gabriel Macht, Sarah Rafferty, and Rick Hoffman. Late last summer, the series drew new and repeated viewership on Netflix, as the streaming platform currently houses 8 of 9 seasons of the legal drama. At the time of its debut on the streamer, Nielsen reported that the drama, which originally aired on the USA Network, set a new record as the most viewed acquired streaming title nearly 4 years after its series finale, after racking up 3 billion viewing minutes within its first week. I want to make it a point to note 3 billion viewing minutes in its first week. We don't even have that kind of time. We're making time for Suits. In November of 2023, the former actress who starred as Rachel Zane on the show for 7 seasons, ending her run in 2018 ahead of her marriage to Prince Harry, reacted to the news herself as she said the series was great to work on. Such a great cast and crew. We had a really fun time, she told Variety at the outlet's Power of Women event. She said the streaming numbers were wild, but credited the show for how well it held up over time. It's hard to find a show you can binge watch that many episodes of these days, so that could have something to do with it. But good shows are everlasting. Adams, Macht, Rafferty, and Gina Torres recently reunited at the 2024 Golden Globes as they presented the cast of Succession with the award for Best Drama Series. Macht and Adams were also seen on the carpet wearing matching tuxedos. Suits fans will see the actors come together again when Adams and Rafferty, Dule Hill, and show creator Aaron Korsh take part in a reunion panel during ATX Television Festival, which takes place from May 30th to June 2nd in Austin, Texas. Ooh, I kind of want to go to that. I might need to go to that and cover that. Let me know. Do y'all want me to go to that and talk about it here? I'll go. I'll go. I also like Austin. I haven't been to Austin in a really long time. But anyway, what do y'all think is the cause for the show's resurgence? I'm going to give my opinion. I think Abigail Spencer raised a lot of really great points. The algorithm, the show sharing space on Netflix along with the Harry and Meghan docuseries. It also shares space with The Crown. All Things Royal would definitely promote a show where a royal family member was on it. But the part that makes the most sense to me is that she kind of buttoned it up with the same point of view that I have. It has to actually be great to hold on to minutes. Here's the thing. A lot of people can click on the show, but they're actually binging the show. So like you rack up minutes because people are still watching. It's not like people clicked on the show just to inquire about it or to see like, oh, what's Meghan like on this show? What's this show about? I keep hearing it. It's not in conversation along with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. That's totally fine. I'm sure that drew a lot of interest, but it actually has to be good to watch. Now, I've said this many times. I had actually never seen Suits. I'd heard of it, but I had never seen Suits. But when I started covering Meghan, I started covering all of her projects. Now, the 2021, I believe, and 2022, I did a series on the channel called Royal Review, where I looked at all of her movies and her shows, and I recapped all the movies. And I'm supposed to do a recap of Suits, and I will definitely do that. But that is a lot of episodes to recap, so I will get to that. I think I'm going to do a part 1, 2, and 3, and just recap seasons at a time since there are so many episodes. But let me know if you have any ideas on how you would prefer to watch that play out. Anyway, when I first watched the show, I got hooked. I watched the entire first season in one sitting. And I was only expecting to watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes. And I finished one of my videos really early. And so I sat down, I said, I'm going to watch 2 or 3 episodes of this, maybe 1 or 2, depending on how much time I have. I looked up and it was like 11:30 p.m. If you know me, you know I've said on this channel, I go to bed at 8:30. That's why the live streams were getting difficult with the time change because I was doing a live stream at 6:30 p.m. my time, and they would usually go on for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I wasn't either I wasn't eating and I was going straight to shower and then go to bed, or I was eating, showering, going to bed, and it was like really late by the time I got to bed, and it was just kind of throwing off my schedule. So when the time changes back, then I'll feel more comfortable going back to live streams. However, y'all know I go to bed early and I still made time for this show. I got so wrapped up that just time was of the essence. Like, and here's the thing, like, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but whenever I'm in a fix or in a fixated state and I'm watching a show or a movie and I'm just binging, I don't want to get up from my seat. And so whoever gets up first has to bring back drinks and snacks for the other one. So like the whole time I wasn't getting up from the seat, husband was doing all the kitchen runs. I had about 3 water bottles next to me when it was over, a couple of empty candy packages. That's why I'm keto now, to make up for my binge of Suits. But anyway, the show actually has to be good. If people are going to watch it, it has to be good. So yes, I'm sure the renewed interest is one, the show is great. And then two, people were excited to see it because they knew Meghan was a part of it, with it being on Netflix alongside Harry and Meghan, the docu-series. I'm sure that, and Live to Lead. Y'all stop forgetting to mention Live to Lead. Alongside Live to Lead, it drew a lot more interest, but at its core, it's just filled with great stories, great acting, great production. It's just a great project. So I think, in my opinion, that's what it is. But I'm interested in hearing what you think. Why do you think Suits has had such a big resurgence? And why do you think it's dominating Nielsen streaming records for the second year in a row? Let me know. I rarely, if ever, talk about Angela Levin on this channel. I have tweeted about and at her a few times on Twitter. But for the most part, we're at a place now versus when I started this channel that we've been spoiled with access to straight facts directly from Harry and Meghan themselves, that I've taken the approach to misinformation and nonsense that my parents took with me. I tell them to look it up. If I dared to ask my parents about something that they'd either taught me already or exposed me to or I had access to, they would simply say, "Oh no, sweetie, go look that up." I had a set of encyclopedias and they were demanding that I got every penny's worth. I know all those encyclopedias backwards and forwards. Matter of fact, by the time I finished them, they were no longer relevant. Everything had updated. But it brings me back to the conversations around race. When people demand that Black people or people of color do the legwork to educate them, when it's them who needs to do the due diligence and educate themselves. I struggled with all those D's, but I made it through. We're tired of being the group who suffers at the foot of racism, and then we turn around and are then tasked with dismantling it. Do your own research. I'll tell you where to go, but the job to educate yourself is yours. And when you don't, that reflects on you. So when people like Angela Levin venture an opinion without research or due diligence, they're saying far more about their own ineptitude than they could ever say about Meghan, Harry, or anyone else for that matter. It also speaks to their tolerance and expectations in relationships, which is a note I've never really hit on this channel. When people say Meghan is bossy or demanding or expects too much of Harry, it reminds me that some people feel women should expect and accept less. I can speak to this in my own life as a wife. When people see a Black woman or a woman of color being loved out loud, they can't tolerate it. Angela's jealousy over Meghan is her own weight to bear. But when she blames Meghan for being too demanding and condemns Harry for working too hard to make Meghan, his literal wife, happy, it tells me everything I need to know about her love life. Just because your cup is empty and probably full of cobwebs doesn't mean anything is wrong with Meghan's cup for running over. Also, daring to speak about Prince Harry on Prince Harry's behalf, especially when he's already done that, but you're speaking on his behalf, is a problem. That is a grown man. Please stop infantilizing him. It doesn't say much about your opinion of him. It says everything about your opinion of men. And there are misogynistic women. Some people forget that there are a lot of women who uphold the patriarchy, and it's a lot of those who feel like they benefited from it because of their proximity to men. It's a whole thing. But anyway, she made a comment and the Royal Observer noted it in this article. The article is full of trash, but this one line stuck out to me. She says, quote, "Deep down, Harry still loves his family, but Meghan comes first, and that's okay. But I think Meghan demands that he has no contact with the family." I'm going to speak on this, and then I have another quote that she made that I want to talk about. When you blame a woman for the actions of a man, you are literally playing into the patriarchy's hand. And yes, women uphold the patriarchy just like men do. And it's usually women who benefit from the patriarchy in some way because of their proximity to men, i.e., the same demographic that harasses Meghan online. These are the ones who have an alliance regarding race, not regarding gender. But it's not even about an alliance. In my opinion, it's more about common sense. With William, he openly rebuffs his wife, points his finger in her face, is disrespectful to her in front of everyone and on camera. And he gets the doting husband edit. They even put words in his mouth, fabricate photos to prove this point that he is openly adoring of Kate. But then, when Harry actually openly loves his wife, stands strong on his values and morals, and pushes back on nonsense, and still openly loves and respects his wife, people call him everything but a child of God. It is insane to me because the thing is, you're trying to give William an edit that resembles Harry's while condemning Harry for openly loving his wife in the first place in a genuine, real, authentic way. As a person who is married, I can tell you this: people have reactions to my husband being openly loving and adoring of me. I've always thought it was strange, but even like when we would hold hands in the movie theater, or not the movie theater, in the grocery store, we walk and hold hands. And I'm one of those, we were not in the way, we were not in the middle of the aisle. I don't play those games. But like if we held hands or like had glances at each other or kissed each other on the cheek, people would like react. Now, me myself, I mind my business. What you do in your relationship or in your household is your business. As long as it's not hurting anyone or affecting anyone, by all means, do you. So when people had reactions to like him opening my door or just kind of waiting on me hand and foot or carrying my bags or always just being super protective of me, people had reactions to that. And I've always thought it was strange. When I've told the story before, when he used to send me flowers regularly when I worked in an office, people would always have something kind of sideways, like a backhanded comment to say. These women would literally stand in front of my desk and be like, "These are so pretty." My husband would never send me flowers because they die. So I don't ever want them. So he doesn't send them because he doesn't want them. And then finally one day, I knew that that was kind of projection, like a little bit of loneliness. I get it. Like sometimes the spark leaves. You have to keep reviving it. And that can be pretty hard if you're going through a low moment in your relationship and see someone in like the fullness of theirs. It can be difficult. But one day I'd had enough. And for Valentine's Day, my husband had sent 4 bouquets of roses. And I loved them. They were so great. Some chocolates, and he gave me a little unicorn bear. So cute and so cool. And he gave me a rose plant for my desk so I could keep it year round. Just really thoughtful man. And he left the house early and made it to my office, and he set up my desk himself. Like he didn't send them, he brought them and set it up in the way that he thought I would like it. And then he went to work. So they all saw my husband at my desk before I got there setting up my gifts. Really sweet. The effort was so sweet. And when I got to work, I was like, "Hey, whose stuff is this?" Somebody left all their things on my desk because it was just so much. And they were like, "Oh no, all that is yours." Now, mind you, when anyone else got anything, they would be like, "Oh my God, he sent cookies," or "Oh my God, he sent flowers." But when it was me, they were like, I was the only Black woman there. They were like, "Oh, yeah, I guess all that is yours." Yeah, I saw him setting up as yours. Like it wasn't even like a let me see. It was none of that. I didn't care because it wasn't about them. It was about him. So I called and thanked him and I sat down. And that's when they literally descended upon me and were like, these are cute. They're so nice of him, but I don't like flowers because I don't, they die. So to me, Valentine's Day is year round. So to show thoughtfulness, my husband does acts of service. Like he turned on the coffee pot and he made my cup of coffee the way I like it. And like he gave me a kiss on my head. And I'm not trying to listen. I don't compare my life to anyone else. So I'm not trying to judge, but I'm sitting there listening like, baby, he should be doing those things anyway. Like y'all should always be doing things for each other. Like I've never run my bath water. Maybe like 4 or 5 times I've run my own bath water. My husband runs my bubble bath. Like it's just part of the routine now. Like he does nice things for me. I do nice things for him. And when she said all this and she was like, "Yeah, he turns on my coffee pot. He makes my cup." And the other one was like, "Yeah, I don't like flowers because they die. I mean, enjoy, but I don't like flowers because they die." And I said, "Well, it sounds like we all got what we wanted. I got flowers, I got attention, and he put in all this effort, and y'all got nothing. I'm glad to hear we all got what we wanted." Child, why did I say that? I should have just held my tongue. I was public enemy number one. I was getting the glares all week. Like, and that was the same week my husband proposed, like 3 or 4 days later. So anyway, I shared that story to say people have a reaction when Black women are just being doted on in any way. Even people who claim to be, oh, I don't see color, which is a racist rally cry, but even people who claim that it's because, well, I just feel like you shouldn't have to do all that to sustain a relationship. Well, baby, if you plan on being in a relationship any amount of time, it's going to take effort. And what that effort looks like is up to you and your partner. So when people condemn Harry, for doing the sweetest things. Like, for example, when he explained how he dressed the letter up when he was in Africa and Meghan was back in Canada, and they were still dating, but they weren't like officially a couple in public. And he was writing her a letter. It was because he lost his phone in a boat. And while he was on the boat, he lost his phone. And when he got back, he was like, I got to write a letter to her so she'll know what happened. I don't want her to be messaging me and think I'm ignoring her. And so he wrote her this letter. He actually went through the thought process, committed to the effort and the action. He said, I have to make the letter beautiful. This man was climbing trees and digging through flower bushes and finding things to make the letter physically beautiful. Now I'm about to be a hater. I'm about to now see, I want to walk up to her desk and look at that letter and be like, my husband doesn't make letters beautiful. I prefer a typewriter. No, that is actually one of my favorite stories about their courtship. They have a lot of these really endearing moments. And see, that is what really has them mad. The Angela Levins and everyone else, that's what's pissed them off, is the fact that they have all these really sweet, endearing moments. And despite the noise around them, they always manage to find each other in the room, as they said. And I know that feeling. I understand that feeling of like your human being is here, like your person out of everyone on the world, out of everyone in the world, we belong together and we're magnetized. Not everybody has that. And those that don't have that, or they're magnetized to somebody who don't want to be magnetized to them, they're going to hate on it. And so when you hear them project this bile into the world about, oh, Harry bends over backwards for Meghan, phooey. We'll sum it up, phooey. When you hear them project this bile into the world, what they're really saying is, I never had anyone love me like that. And I'm jealous about it. What they're also saying is, I don't deserve it because I'm pretty much an awful person. And I think that can definitely be applied to not only Angela Levin, but all of the nonsense pundits. And then third, what they're really saying, who does she think she is as a Black woman to have our white prince bending over backwards for her? The misogynoir literally drips from their old, crinkly, cracked lips. And the thing I love most about Meghan is that she has said multiple times, she does not listen to that stuff. She does not consume her own media. She doesn't know what's out there because she tunes out the noise. While she's busy living her very happy life, people like Angela Levin are on the sidelines angry about it. You just got to let them stay angry. You will literally kill yourself trying to convince someone to get out of their own way. Bitter people are relentless. If someone is committed to the bit and they're bitter, there is no saving them. See, there are certain types of people that you can break through to. There are people who you can actually make headway with. There are people who are willing to listen, willing to be wrong, willing to be accountable, willing to do their own due diligence. Those are people that you can make space for because they may be redeemable. Some people are out in this world and intentionally being obtuse. And those are the people you should not waste your time on. If someone doesn't have the interest in learning and knowing the truth and being better, you have to let them stay in their own ineptitude. Let them stay stupid. I'm not going to argue with Angela Levin about her beliefs, but I think they're pretty clear as day. She's jealous. She seems pretty lonely. She's just a bitter hag. And I don't mean hag as an age because, baby, I am 36 and every year you're on this earth is a blessing. But not as an age, but as in just wickedness, just this ball of jealousy, lying, hatred, etc. The fact that she even said that Harry did a disservice by not making a public statement about the well being of Kate and Charles, despite I don't remember Angela Levin ever making that statement about the royal family when Harry and Meghan were going through what they were going through. Any of the things. Sure, Kate and Charles were in the hospital. Listen, I have been asked on several occasions to talk about or give my opinion on what the hell is going on with Kate. Now, I started that conversation a couple of weeks ago when it was first announced. I am waiting for something specific, and I don't want to share what that it is, but when something specific comes out based on what's been sent to me, when something specific is shared on a platform that I feel comfortable reading from, then I will share. But I'll say this, having my email and my phone number on my videos has compelled a lot of people in a lot of very interesting professional places to share things with me because they can't do it, whether or not they're bound with NDAs or whatever. They send things to me and are like, hey, this is what's going on, or hey, this is what I think. Hey, this is what it's looking like. People I don't know. And so I don't know what to do with that until it's reported. I am definitely not going to be no Tasha K. No offense to her, but I'm not going to be no Tasha K and breaking a story and getting my ass sued. So I'm going to talk about it once it's discussed on a platform that is comfortable bearing the weight of that. That way I have a source to link it back to so y'all can do your research once you're done listening to me. And so I appreciate the info, and I have an opinion brewing, but I said, let me consume something from a reputable source, and then I will share this. And so just know my opinion is on its way. Uh, so with that said, Charles and Kate haven't been asked to show up for Harry and Meghan in the same way that people seem to want to force Harry and Meghan to show up for them. If the theory that I'm going on is correct, or not the theory I'm going on, the theory they're going on is, well, family shows up for one another. They should do it because it's family. Harry should be concerned, despite what they've been through. Harry should be concerned about Charles and Kate because that's his family. He should be concerned about them. So the logic that would make that comment true is that family is important above all else should also apply on the other side. And when you don't apply it to both sides, things are imbalanced. And when things are imbalanced, it means that you have a bias. And when you have a bias, but you're representing an entity or claiming to be unbiased, you are being misleading. I make no bones about my channel being extremely biased for a number of reasons. One, I'm not a journalist. I guess, a media personality. I don't know. I'm a YouTube personality. I have no shame in being like, oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber on the side. Sure, I like it. It's fun. It's a really fun hobby. But because my channel represents me and because I make my personal beliefs known, you have every right to make the decision for yourself whether or not you want to consume my media. I will not stop supporting Harry and Meghan regardless of what people say, what people think. I don't have a problem with standing on my own and in my own values because I know what I've aligned with is something that makes me proud. I know that aligning with my own value system and supporting those who do the same makes me proud, it means I'm operating from a place of authenticity and integrity. One of the things I realize is that the people who hate Harry and Meghan and who work towards bringing them down, not even the people who are just like not tapped in, or even the people who are like, I don't really care about royal stuff. Again, I'm in America, so I actually come across that personal opinion a lot. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, you've got to love the royals. Like, no, it's fine. You don't have to like the royals. I really don't care. That's not really my problem. But for those, I'm excluding them from the next statements. I'm talking specifically about the people who outwardly hate Harry and Meghan, who outwardly dislike them, who outwardly act upon those feelings, who try to take them down through peddling misinformation, through taking up space on these platforms and sharing like this Angela Levin thing and sharing these feelings. These are the people that I'm referring to when I make my next statements. This is the epitome of resentment. Have you ever heard the quote that resentment is drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die? It's literally that. It's literally emotional acidity. It erodes you from the inside out. It makes it to where you're focused on things that you dislike rather than things that you like. It makes it to where that you are operating from a shell of yourself because you don't even know yourself. The things in the space in your brain that should be taken up with facts and information about you is now taken up with facts and information about someone else. There is no reason we should be hearing more from Angela Levin about Harry and Meghan than about her interests or herself or causes or things that she's passionate about. I don't know what side of the fence Angela Levin sits on because at the end of the day, all she talks about is Harry and Meghan. I don't know how Angela Levin votes. I don't know Angela Levin's favorite food. I don't know what causes, charities, foundations, or anything that she's passionate about. I don't even know what Angela Levin does when she leaves those panels, because nobody cares about Angela Levin. They just care about the hate that she brings and she spawns. And honestly, when you are operating in a place where you are known for hate, or you make a whole platform based on hate or lies or misinformation, you will get to the point where not only will people not know the real you, but you won't know the real you. There is something extremely dangerous and on a spiritual level about dedicating yourself to the downfall of someone else. And so that's why when that person who you're dedicating all this energy to and trying to bring them down, that's why when you are focused on these people and they continue to have peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, and in this case, outright love, maybe even a little lust, child, just outright love and adoration, you can't stomach it. That's a lesson to anyone. I'm not even talking about just Harry and Meghan haters. I'm talking about haters in general too. People who sit in Beyonce's comment section, you ain't the real queen. Like, when people do that, I really do wonder and I see people arguing with them like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there like, do not give yourself, a stress induced stroke or heart attack arguing with people who have made their mind up. Let them be crazy. Let them be stupid. Do you? If there's action that can be taken, then please take action. So, if I see something like that, I report it. If somebody says that to me in my real life, I'll say, okay, well, what led you to that? And they'll make a comment or whatever. Oh, she steals all her things. Watch Life is But a Dream. Get back to me. Watch any of her concert movies or DVDs. You literally see how she curates her ideas. Did y'all see that man? Maybe not, but not too long ago, I don't know what he is. He's like a creative director. Tried to accuse Beyonce of stealing the robot space theme from him, only for Beyonce to have been doing that since 2007. And when I tell you they ate him up with receipts, see, that is the thing now. Like, because so much information is readily available, and thanks to the power of the internet and such an amazing a source for sharing information, we don't have to argue with people anymore. Just show them the receipts. That's one of the reasons, and I know y'all have heard me say this a million and one times. I love that Harry and Meghan have not only told their story in Spare and in the Oprah interview, but on Harry and Meghan, the docuseries, because that is, I feel like we've never really gotten to dissect that in the way that I really want to. But that is such a hub of receipts. You don't need to hear me say nothing. Listen to Harry say it. Listen to Meghan say it. They said it themselves. Like, who am I? My voice is not going to be any louder than theirs. You're getting it directly from the source. They enabled us to never have to fight with a deranger again. Just show them the receipt. You got it. Even recently, I recommended somebody listen to Spare and watch the docuseries. And I said, there's a chance that people who watch this aren't going to go and do that. Let me put it right in front of them. And I put it in the video. Took me a whole lot of time, and it demonetized the video because I put too much content. But I said, you know what? That's fine. You know what? I'd rather have the truth following all of this, so that at all points, whenever there's misinformation shared, the correct information is now shared instead. I'd rather have that rather than the money made from it. It's a little free labor. Not very happy about that. But like I said, I literally said in that same video, YouTube will beat the hell out of positive channels, but the fake channels can just keep their videos up as long as they want to, make as much money as they want on lies. We're working on taking that down. We're working on fixing that. More to come. Can't speak on it yet, but more to come. I woke up this morning with some really good news, and so hopefully I can share that soon. But anyway, I said that to say people who sit there and peddle hate are only doing themselves the ultimate disservice. I don't understand how you can turn a man openly loving his wife into a negative thing, but I think that says everything we need to know about Angela Levin's personal life. I think she just owned herself 100%. If I told you ain't no way a man can please a woman, then you pretty much know what's going on at home. And so when she's saying Harry is trying to please Meghan to the extreme, I'm like, first of all, there is no such thing as trying to make your partner too happy. A mutual, loving, respectful, and honoring relationship is a beautiful thing. A relationship that blossoms continuously with time is a beautiful thing. You will never hear me insulting that. It's too many people out here masquerading in these fake relationships or these PR relationships or these partnerships and agreements, and having to fake visits to hospitals and having to fake love and having to fake gazes. People editing your photos to make it look like y'all are looking at each other. And that's supposed to be in love? Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan can keep their hands off each other. Like, have y'all ever seen them move through a crowd? The way they just glide with their hands and they move. See, that's something that comes with one, being in step with your partner, and two, being together long enough to really understand each other's rhythms. There are times where I'm a little reckless. Sometimes when we're walking in parking lots, my husband will just ease me on to the side because he don't want oncoming traffic to be closest to me. Just that's a Southern man thing too. Just ease me on over. Just move me on. And, it's helpful that he's a big man. He can push me on over to the side. But it's nice when I'm like, he really don't want me to get hit by a car, child. I know he loved me, child. He did not want me to get hit by the car. Just the lowest of expectations. No, all jokes aside, there is a certain rhythm that comes with being with a partner for a long time. And those that get it, get it. So I'm never going to condemn anyone from loving their partner too much. What bothers me is that historically, royal wives have given 110% into the relationship where the men seem disinterested. Look at how Charles treated Diana. Diana came into the family, and although she had a lot of struggles that were not her fault, she gave her best. She elevated that family. She literally elevated the family and passed the torch right on to her son's wife. And Meghan did the same. And in both cases, the family couldn't take it. They don't want to be great. Everybody that comes and could possibly elevate them, they don't want to do it. They don't want to tolerate that. They don't want to be great. Let them continue to be trash. Let them go. Diana got out of Dodge. Meghan got out of Dodge. The two most shining stars of that royal family, including Harry, of course, but I mean for the royal wives, the two most shining stars of any royal wives ever, Diana and Meghan, and they both left. The only thing that makes me really sad is that Diana left and only had about a year, almost a whole year of really living a life she enjoyed before she passed away. And I wish she would have been able to see her life really unfold to its fullest extent. She was destined for an amazing life. She put in so much amazing help and love and aid and care and compassion into this world, only for the world to spit back bare bones at her. I love that people loved her, and I love that she had the public's adoration, but she absolutely should have had so much better treatment, not only from her married family, but from her real family. Well, let's not, we've talked a lot about that. I'm real passionate when it comes to Princess Diana. I'm real passionate about how she was treated. I just feel like when Meghan left and I learned the story of what happened to Meghan, it made me curious about knowing all the details of what happened to Diana. And when I saw how those stories paralleled, I was like, down with that family, down with every last one of them except for Harry. And maybe Princess Anne, but all the rest of them can go. I feels nothing for him. And so I said all that to say, I've talked y'all's ear off. Sorry. I've said all that to say that Angela Levin making the claim that Harry loves his wife too much and is trying too hard to please his wife is saying more about her and what she values in relationships than it could ever say about Harry and Meghan. Now, I know y'all have thoughts on this, so I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Like, I don't even feel like this warranted me getting like pulling receipts or anything. I said, this is a discussion topic because this is not even, this is an asinine comment. This is an asinine opinion to have because it's not even about Meghan per se. This is about Angela Levin's expectations in a relationship. Angela, do you not want your man or your husband, or I don't know who she goes home to, is if Angela's straight, I don't know, your person at home, do you not want them to be concerned with your health and safety? I would hope so. If my husband needed something, I'd bend this world in half to make sure he gets it. If I need something, I've witnessed my husband do anything possible to make sure I get what I want or need. That's what you should have in a relationship. You should always feel like when you go home to your partner that you're home, like home for real. Because there are going to be days where the world spits you out. There are days where we come home and we've dominated our day. We had a good day. We got the good cup of coffee. We had the just the right amount of creamer. We did our job. We dominated in the meeting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We come home and we back into the parking space. Oh, we feeling real good. And, the groceries, we got a discount because they had a little coupon at the bottom of your purse. It just had a real good day. But then there are days where you're out of the right coffee bean. The desk was uncomfortable. Suddenly today, the chair you sit in hurts your back. You don't have nowhere to put your feet. It started raining. You didn't bring nothing to put over your head. It's like we've all had those days. And when we have those days where the world spits us back out on our doorstep, you want your partner to open that door and carry you on inside. Pick them up, carry them on inside. And I don't doubt Actually, I know for a fact that Harry and Meghan have that kind of beautiful relationship where they can thrive together and they can help each other when things aren't so great. And that is what you want because this life will send anything your way, good, bad, up, down, bad, ugly, whatever. Your partner is supposed to have your back through it all. And through Harry and Meghan, the docu-series, we got to see that relationship up close and personal. It gave a lot of people something to aspire to, but it gave the haters something to gnaw on. And I don't know, maybe that's my favorite part of it. Stay mad. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's move to the next topic. Looks like things are going from bad to worse for MGN, and I couldn't be happier. I'm reading from The Guardian in an article written by Haroon Sadiq titled Daily Mirror Faces £2 million in Legal Costs Over Prince Harry Phone Hacking. Judge ruled that Mirror Group newspapers' titles all used extensive unlawful information gathering. The Daily Mirror is facing a claim for almost £2 million in legal costs for Prince Harry, after Prince Harry won substantial damages in his phone hacking case against the publisher. Mr. Justice Fancourt ruled at the High Court last month that extensive phone hacking took place at Mirror Group newspapers from 2006 to 2011, even to some extent during the Levinson inquiry into media standards. The judge also found widespread unlawful information gathering at all three MGN titles and that the use of private investigators was an integral part of the system. Fancourt awarded Harry 140,600 pounds in damages after finding that 15 out of the 33 articles examined at trial relating to him were the product of phone hacking or unlawful information gathering. Harry was one of 4 representative claimants whose cases were heard after a generic case on behalf of a much larger group of claimants. After Harry's success, all those who were involved in the generic claim want to recover the costs that they have incurred. I agree with that. David Sherborne, representing the group, said in written arguments that the total amount sought, not including Harry's costs, which will be determined at a later date, were £2.15 million, but that to avoid unnecessary argument, they wanted 90% of that amount, £1.94 million, to be paid on account. Quote, the claimants were the overwhelming victors on each of the key generic issues examined by the judge, said Sherborne. These findings have clearly justified the bringing of the generic case and provided important vindication to the claimants, as well as crucial judicial findings and the important uncovering of the truth that had been concealed and lied about by MGM. In the circumstances, the only just outcome is for them to be paid the costs of that exercise. As the court heard evidence relating to only 33 out of 148 articles about Harry, his claim is unfinished, and he will seek his legal fees when they have been heard. This being the case, the costs for individual case, which are likely to be substantial, are not included in the current claim. Whew, they finna have to pay out a lot. Sherborne said, although the Duke is certainly prepared to attempt to resolve the remainder of his claim through agreement, it is necessary to list the remainder of his claim as soon as is practicable. Roger Malou, KC for MGN, told the court that the publisher made offers to settle with Harry, but the terms of the offers were confidential. MGN is disputing the costs sought by the claimants. Malou said in written arguments that it proposed paying 35% of the successful claimants' common costs, reflecting the fact that they only had partial success on the trial issues. He also said the other 3 representative claimants, the Coronation Street actors Michael Turner and Nikki Sanderson and Fiona Whiteman, the former wife of comedian Paul Whitehouse, should be required to make a contribution to MGN's costs. Turner was awarded £31,650 in damages, but Sanderson and Whiteman had their claims dismissed because they were made too late, although they are seeking leave to appeal against that decision. Malou said all 3 fall into this unsuccessful claimant camp for the whole, or a substantial majority of their claims. In Turner's case, because he rejected a pre-action offer greater than the amount he was awarded at trial. Judgment will be delivered at a later date. Now, here's the thing. I'm in America, so I don't really know how the legal system works over there, but I'll say this. If I beat you in court, you should absolutely have to pay my legal fees. Whatever you did to me, I shouldn't have had to endure. I've already beaten you in court and proved that I was right, you were wrong. You should not only have to pay whatever the settlement is, but you should absolutely pay my legal fees because we wouldn't be here if you hadn't done whatever you've done. Now, I say this in a general term because this happens a lot. I've seen a lot of lawsuits where they walk away with a settlement, but you need to cover the cost that I had to pay to even bring this to court because you should have done right by me in the first place. Anyway, since they haven't come to a determination, This is just letting us know that this is coming down the pipeline. So I will definitely have more to talk about once this is determined by Judge Fancourt. But what do you think? Do you think that the Daily Mirror should have to pay the £2 million for the claimant's legal fees? I do. And honestly, I'm ready to find out what the ultimate number is at the end, because I'm pretty sure well, I know it's a whole lot higher than £2 million. That's just where we're starting from. But again, Harry's legal fees were actually not including in that number. They're also going to have to pay Harry's as well. So I'm interested. I wonder why I know why, but they should have said all of the claimants. This isn't just about Harry. He was one of the claimants. So I'm interested in seeing exactly how much they have to pay out and if they'll even have to pay it out altogether. I feel like some things should just be a given. I feel like the law makes things really difficult where it doesn't have to be. I feel like there's so much more room for things to just be simply black and white. If you lose your case, you not only have to pay out whatever settlement you've been determined to pay out, but you also have to pay their legal fees. Anyway, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. My last segment entails a conversation and a really sweet story deriving from the Invictus Games. And before we get to that, I wanted to share my thoughts and direction on this topic. When I went to the Invictus Games in Germany, I feel like I came home a little changed. And I know a lot of you probably feel the same. So share with me, like, what was your takeaway from the Invictus Games? Whether you went in Dusseldorf or The Hague or Orlando or London, wherever you attended, if you attended, share with me what that experience was like when you came home. Like, what did you come home with? I can speak to it as far as coming home with just inspiration. Like, being part of that community, even for a short amount of time, was impactful. And I saw how this amazing thing that derived from an idea grew into this huge and massively impactful event that spanned 2 weeks and impacted so many people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, because their families are there. And we got to have a good time. Now, hold on now. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just inspirational. We had fun. We got to scream in the stadium. We got to walk around, eat the good food, get all the fun trinkets. And one thing I appreciate about Invictus Games is that they don't try to like gouge you in the merch store. I cleaned up in the merch store and I barely spent any money. Like, I spent a pretty penny on those books, but those were collector's items. Everything else was like really well priced. So I really appreciated that, because a lot of people will gouge you because you want to take home a memento. Side note, just going back to the main topic. But I took away inspiration in addition to having fun and eating good food and getting some cool merch. And when I came home, I said, my channel is a YouTube channel. So obviously I'm communicating through words and images, and I'm sharing a lot and exposing and platforming and deplatforming and doing the good work through YouTube. But I just didn't feel like it was enough. I feel like I came home so inspired that I was like, you have the potential to do a lot more. And of course, I was already a member of UN Women and the NAACP, and I contribute to the Halo Trust. And those are all really Anti-Slavery International, and those are really important parts of my life. I also wanted to do more as far as fundraising. And so y'all saw that result in the partnership with Fisher House Foundation as a groundbreaker. And even though we only had that fundraiser for 25 days, we raised well over $3,000 against a $500 goal. So, that was a one way to end the year. That probably was the best way to end the year. And I decided to commit to action. So instead of just talking about stories, blogs, leaks, whatever, I'm committing to the action behind them. I'm exposing things. I'm reporting things. I'm sending emails. I'm making phone calls. I'm reaching out to find out legalities based on what's posted here and there, etc. And those are not things that I want to share until they are complete. And I acquired a YouTube channel knowing that it would come with a fair share of trolls and support. And the reason the trolls don't really get to me is because I have the support and I really appreciate that. And so because I have moderators, trolls haven't really been as big of an issue for me as they were in the past. But as of the last 3 days, I have literally been getting harassed. And this is not the kind of harassment I anticipated with with my YouTube channel. Um, someone lifted, and I wasn't going to share this, but I do think it's important from an overall point. Someone lifted a bunch of my content that I worked really hard on and put it on their page, on their channel, and it resulted in about 8 different videos having over 40% of my content. That's insane. That's a lot of content. As someone who does all of my own editing for the most part, to see my work on someone else's page and then they have me, I can't, for some reason I'm blocked. I could see the link, but I couldn't click on it. And when YouTube showed me that there were 8 different videos with over 40% of my content on each one, that's a lot of content being used. And then I couldn't even watch the video to see exactly how they were sharing my content and what was the purpose of it. Of course, I responded to YouTube with a request to remove those videos. And this was 3 days ago. Apparently, this resulted in a strike, which means it probably wasn't just me. It takes a lot to get a strike. It probably wasn't just me. It was probably other creators as well. And so this person has now been harassing the hell out of me. And I'm saying this because I know they watch my channel. Well, actually, I have them blocked, so they can't see this. But I'm sharing this because I have been getting emails on both email accounts, the one attached to my YouTube and the one that's presented to the public. I'm also getting phone calls on the number that's presented to the public. I'm also getting DMs on every single platform where I am present, on my Twitter, on my Instagram, on YouTube here, and on Facebook, and everywhere I have a presence. I have gotten at least 2 or 3 DMs. I'm getting followed on these platforms by this person and commented. And this person has left me 14 calls along with voicemails from 3 different numbers. It has been 3 days of literal hell of trying to, because it takes time to not only block and delete on every single platform, but report, and you have to write all that stuff out and take pictures. It's been tough. And it's so funny because I feel like it came right around the time where I said I was going to commit to more action, not just talking about stuff, but action. And now I'm getting harassed myself. And I took a moment to say, my God, this is one person. I cannot imagine if this was thousands. And so instead of deterring me, this person made me that much more committed to the mission of not only debunking misinformation, but also advocating for a safer online world. I shouldn't have to open my email with 5 emails and open my Instagram with 10 DMs from 10 different people, and my Twitter, and I'm getting DMs and comments and commenting on my videos and commenting on my shorts and sending me friend requests on all these other, like, it is a lot. And it was getting to me for about 5 minutes. But then I said, "You know what? I said I was going to be about that action." And I feel like this is an opportunity for me to feel what it's like to truly be trolled. So while I'm still doing everything I can to get this person nixed out of here, I realized that I'm only getting one of these people. I mean, I'm always getting negative comments. Every video I post, I get negative comments. I get emails telling me how my hair didn't look right, or my makeup didn't look right, or my eyelash was ugly, and my background was ugly, and my shirt looks crooked, and my wrist is fat, and my bracelet didn't fit, and my ring was too fat, and all these things. I get that every single video I post. I'm being told about myself in some negative form or fashion. Because you can only block so many people. You can only block so many IP address. And every time they post, I'm going to block it. But to be trolled in the way that I'm being like harassed now was a little bit different. I don't know. It was something about seeing the same name and face and emoji, because they hide behind, it's not their face, it's a logo, and they're hiding behind anonymity. And it's the same one everywhere I turn. And it is bothersome, but then it really took me a moment to say, you're committing to action. And although from the peripheral, from the outskirts and the perimeter, you've been able to really see and advocate for a safer online world, and you've been able to support not only Harry and Meghan, but everyone who's spoken up to advocate for a safer online world. You're now feeling the effects of not having that. And so instead of deterring me, he incentivized me to just go that much harder with my action. And so I want anyone who thinks trolling me is a good idea to know that I don't give a damn, because just as committed as you are to getting under my skin, I'm that much more unbothered. Like, outside of the online world, I have a life. So when I'm irritated here, I get to go to my life that's happy as hell. I decided to commit to more action because being affiliated with different charities and foundations now, and publicly aligning and supporting and advocating for these charities, I feel like it's the right thing to do. To not just sit on the sidelines and talk about what I don't like, to not just sit on the sidelines and say, "Oh wow, they presented misinformation," but to show the correct information and to advocate for the source of the correct information. It doesn't do me or anyone else any good for me to just sit up here and be a loudmouth. What does do some good is sharing the sources, sharing the information. I know that not everybody is going to watch the docu-series Harry and Meghan. I know not everybody's going to read Spare. If you haven't taken the time to even, or the interest to actually advocate or to actually listen to it already, I know that you're not going to be compelled to do so because I told you that. So guess what? I'm going to put it in my videos. The cost of being transparent means doing the due diligence to find the correct information and present it. That's what you have to do. And that's what I'm committed to doing. And so while everybody can have an opinion, I don't appreciate trolls, and I damn sure don't appreciate harassment. But regardless of what you send my way, it is not going to deter me, because I am committed to the action. I am committed to not just sitting up here being a loudmouth and arguing. I learned a long time ago from my own grandmother, your tongue is your sword and shield. Just as you can build up a great life around you, you can also tear it down with your tongue. You can also protect yourself. Use your words wisely. And sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I cuss. Uh, sometimes I cuss, and sometimes I talk a little mess, and I'm working on that. But also, like I said, being committed to the action meant that every single thing I do on my channel is a choice in what I talk about, a choice in how I present that information, a choice of what to share, how to share it, and a choice in how to go about change. There are going to be times where I want to say something that I can't. And there are going to be times where I have to say something that I don't want to. There are going to be times where I have to present something that I'm not a fan of so that we can have the conversation about that thing. But at the end of the day, every single thing is a choice. And with every choice, I have to determine, how do I respond? There are going to be times where an argument or a debate is necessary. But there are also times to remember that you don't always have to push if someone is willing to give. If someone is willing to listen, if someone is willing to be educated, if someone is willing to get the information to correct their own misunderstanding, I don't have to force that person to do a damn thing. I can simply ask them to. And for the people who aren't going to go the route of learning this information for themselves or whatever, and a lot of people don't, most people don't. Anytime you see something on my channel that I don't agree with, you will immediately see the correct information being displayed. You will see the correction. That doesn't always make me friends. I have gotten emails and phone calls even from people who I've talked about their articles, and I talked about what was wrong with it. And they've called me and been like, "Hey, I'd love to come on your channel and debate you." No. I said what I had to say, and I presented the receipts that dispel what you had to say. So next time you publish an article, just know that not only am I out here, but there are thousands of other people who are going to do the same. Just clean it up. You don't need to debate me. You need to correct the misunderstanding and the misinformation. And for the people who don't want to acquire that information, that's fine. But everywhere you see something presented on my channel, if it is knowingly something that is not true, I am going to post the truth. Thankfully, there are some people who are like, yeah, I understand. If I said something wrong or if I shared something that was incorrect, thank you for putting the correct information there. Some people don't have time to go and do the research. Guess what? If they're going to watch my channel and we're going to cover a topic, I'm going to do my damnedest to present the correct information for them, because not everybody's going to go searching for it. Is it my job to make them do their due diligence? No, but if you come on my channel and something is shared that isn't true, you are going to hear me say it isn't true. Wherever you are in your process of advocacy work or giving back or just being part of the change and being part of progress, I want to encourage you in that space. But I also want to share this. In the same way that I don't require people to share my opinion, I am not going to condemn you if you don't like something about my channel. That's really not my goal here. This isn't a popularity contest for me. This is a hobby that I want to use for some good. And so that having this platform and being committed to change, I knew from the gate I was going to ruffle feathers. I knew from the gate not everybody was going to like everything about me. There are going to be days where y'all like the sound of my voice, and some days y'all going to be like, "Ooh, girl, gone somewhere. I don't heard too much of you." There are going to be days where my bun gets on your nerves. As someone literally emailed me to say, "Your bun is so distracting. I wish that you would wear it smaller." Like, if I knew then what I know now about the wide range of complaints people can actually curate, I would have probably never been on camera. Not because I'm insecure, because I love me some me. Backwards, forwards, front, back, up, down. I love me some me. And I'm proud of loving me some me. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I love the hell out of me because I know what the world is like when you don't love yourself. You end up like the Jeremy Clarksons, the Angela Levins, these lying people, these Piers Morgans, these Dan Wootons. When you don't love yourself, you end up like them. I don't want that for you. But I say that to say, if I'm such a distraction, if my voice today is annoying, if the way I present my information is annoying, if I don't respond to something in the way that you wanted me to respond, even if I did respond and reach the ultimate goal, but I didn't do it the way you would have wanted me to do it. And if I didn't use the tone of voice you want me to use, if I didn't use the editing you wanted me to use, or even like the complaints about my thumbnails. I hate that your thumbnails are black now because I can't, I used to be able to identify you because they used to be blue. Baby, things change. Baby, things change. And if me being me distracts you from that, then I want you to make choices that only you can make. If you can't hear the message, and if you can't commit to change in whatever way is comfortable for you, and if you can't be part of the progress because I'm a distraction in some way, then I bid you adieu with the biggest blessing. I send you with good vibes because at the end of the day, the goal isn't for me to be popular. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Do I prefer that you like me? Sure. It makes things a lot easier for you if you're going to listen to me, but I don't care personally what people think about me. I just don't. It's not something that I've ever really cared about. I'm never going to reach that, and I'm not even going to try. I'm going to do things in the way that I think is best. With every decision I make, it is intentional. I have weighed every pro and con, and I realize that being transparent, being authentic, but being honest is most important. And sometimes I don't have to be loud because by simply asking, things get done. And sometimes when the door is closed to me, I have to kick it down. Every day I'm faced with a decision, and I make that decision with the fullness of my being, every single choice. And I feel good about every choice I've made so far. I've had learning opportunities, and I've had opportunities where I felt like I nailed it. That's going to come with every place in your life. As a parent, as a spouse, as an employee, as a boss, as a creative, you're always going to have a moment where you say, "Oh, I nailed that." And then you're going to have a moment where you say, "Maybe not." That's fine. But at the end of the day, if me going through those transitions is a distraction and you want me to do things the way you would want me to do them as per your taste, I want to send you with the biggest blessing and positivity. I want to send you to do your own channel. And here's why I will commit to that. When you do, I will subscribe. I'm not being ugly. This isn't me being ugly. I don't think people really know me that well. Well, how could you? But you don't know me well enough to make some of the really personal statements that get made to me. Like I mentioned, I'm literally getting harassed by somebody. Y'all didn't know that because that's not y'all problem. I'm not going to weigh y'all down with this psychopath who's bothering me. Like eventually it'll work itself out, as does everything else. God will take care of everything. It'll work itself out. Is it frustrating? Sure. But is it enough to distract from my real life? No. I think it's great when more Sussex channels come to be, and I will subscribe to you. You can ask anybody. I subscribe to the other channels, and I try to comment as much as I can. I want you to go do that. I want you to have that outlet. I want you to present the information in the way that makes you feel good, and I will support you in that. Because the more Sussex channels there are, the louder we are, the more impact we have, the more change we can bring about, the more mobilization we can have. Like, I want that. There are hundreds of negative channels. I want there to be 3 times as many Sussex channels. So by all means, you're more than welcome to keep following me. Please do. But if you don't and you want to go do things your way and you want to have your channel and you want to present that information the way you would present it, I want to support you in that. So if you are going to keep trying to troll me or be rude to me or be nasty to me, again, this is not for those who have an opinion. I want you to have an opinion. I wouldn't ask you to weigh in on these things if I expected everyone to sound like me. That would be ridiculous. But we all have a unique voice, and some people want their voice projected onto other platforms louder than most. And I want those people who have so much untapped potential to go make a channel or a podcast or whatever you do so that we can continue to grow as a community. This is your call to action right now. If you don't like the way I present something, or you don't like the way Sussex Family TV presents something, or you don't like the way Royal Sussex presents something, and it's to the point where it's distracting you, guess what? Welcome to the community. Go build your channel and let me know about it and I'll come follow you. But creators are already up against a lot. Creators with something to say and are basing their content on values and morals and progress and change. We face a whole different mountain when it comes to this platform. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it is with a purpose. And so if you do go make your channel or you do go make your podcast or whatever you do where you get to exercise your creativity and your way of doing things, please let me know and don't hesitate because I will come follow you. I will follow you. I will comment. I'll try my best to be at every live stream. And if I'm not at every live stream, I'm gonna watch you on replay and I'm gonna share you. Y'all see, I'll share other videos on my Twitter all the time. All the time. Because I love it. I want us to grow. And I want us to look at something that happens to pretty much every channel, which is people will just impose on you. Should have said it like this. You should have did it like this. Should have blah 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 blah. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I expect y'all to have opinions, so it's not a big deal. But I also think that's a moment where I think the person speaking should ask themselves, I feel passionate, but is this a call to action? Should I be doing this too? I say yeah. The reason my channel exists is because no one was talking about I may destroy you. And I wanted to talk about I may destroy you. And I started a YouTube channel to talk about a show that changed my literal life. So I'm not mad at anybody. I don't hate anybody. It's all love. It's all good. I just want people to realize there's more to life than arguing and stressing. There's a way to do things that accomplish your goal that do not cause unnecessary stress and pain onto you. Stress will kill you. Stress will take you out of here. So if you can accomplish a goal by doing so in a way that does not raise your blood pressure, I encourage you to. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to be true to themselves because I'm definitely true to me. And I do what I feel is best in every situation. Sometimes my mind changes, sometimes it don't. But if you feel compelled to antagonize, if you feel compelled to project, if you feel compelled to argue, to debate and go down that line with me on my platform, I'm not going to make space for you to do that. You're welcome to share an opinion. As far as your contribution goes, it's your opinion. That's as much as you allowed on this channel. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. But you cannot force someone to do things in the way that you would have them do it. Because people came here to hear me say what I had to say in the way that I wanted to say it. And everybody's voice is valuable. So if you want things said a certain way, then I think you should be a valuable voice that contributes to the good in this world. And I will listen to you. But anyway, because I felt compelled to devote not only my time and my channel and anything else that I put my effort into to actually changing things to contribute to progress rather than just commenting, I knew that it would come with its challenges and I knew that it would come with tough decisions. And every choice I've made has been intentional with all things considered in every choice. And so if I make a choice for my channel or to present something or not present something or whatever, there is a reason for that. So anyway, I said that to say I felt compelled to devote myself to change after attending the Invictus Games. And I know a lot of people feel that same way. A lot of people who've gone to the Invictus Games, whether you went to The Hague or to Dusseldorf or to Orlando or in London, wherever you went to the Invictus Games, I know most of you can relate to that feeling of walking away and feeling super inspired and feeling like you got to have a glimpse into this really special community. And it kind of compels you to think bigger. How can you expand your impact? How can you be a better person? How can you use your voice to bring about good? Not just commenting on the bad, but bringing about good. How can you use your voice? How can you use your effort? How can you spend your time? And I feel that way. And I'm really proud of the things that have changed and evolved ever since attending. And I'm not even the target demographic. So I can only imagine how that feels for other people who have attended the Invictus Games. Well, a very nice person who I adore sent me this article. That's not even an article, it's more so like a story about two attendees of the Invictus Games. And I believe it's in The Hague, or it could have been in Sydney. But we're going to read it because for those of us, I felt like those of us who've been to Invictus, it'll be nice to tap back into that feeling. And for those who haven't been to Invictus, you've been watching, you've been watching us cover the games, you've been there by proxy. So you likely can tap into this same exact feeling. You don't have to be there in person to really just feel the spirit, or should I say, the heart of Invictus. So I want to read this. The person asked me to not name them. Their job monitors their online use, and so I don't want to put them in jeopardy. So I won't name you, but thank you for sending me the article. Now, again, this is like a story, less of an article, and it's titled One Moment in Time. As we wind down our series, quote, Where Are They Now? This last soldier reminds us that kindness matters. Brandy Evans, a retired Army sergeant who served as a medic for 10 years, was quiet and unassuming, got hurt, recovered, and ended up on Team Army and Team US through adaptive sports. The fever to compete was in full swing, but Evans soon learned that there's more to life than medals. At the 2018 Invictus Games in Sydney, Australia, during the final track event in wheelchair racing, Brandy Evans did something that would change the face of competitive sports and help define what Invictus is all about. After medaling already at the games, Evans knew the night before her next competition she wanted to help Naomi Eddy from the UK to do the same. Quote, I knew at that moment I would help her in the 1500 race the next day. I knew I wanted to help her instead of going after another medal for myself, said the multi sport athlete. Wow. The 1500 started the next day, and Evans didn't really push her chair. She let Naomi, I hope I'm saying that correctly, it's spelled differently in this part, Naomi from the UK get ahead of her and encouraged her competitor to push hard and get further ahead. Quote, I don't think anyone knew what was happening until the final lap. What was I doing? I stayed with Naomi, and at the end, I led her to the finish before me so she could win the bronze. That is now a huge moment in Invictus history. Evans and 80 are on the US President's Invictus coin for the 2022 Games at The Hague. That moment in time had quite the road traveled to get there, and Brandy Evans could hardly believe it had happened at all. It started just 1 week before a deployment 20 years ago. Evans was hit by a car while crossing a street in Denver, breaking her hip and knee. Oh my gosh. Quote, in 2003, when I was in a wheelchair, no one talked to me about adaptive reconditioning or adaptive sports. I was told I could golf, swim, or bike. I was physically involved with many things like volleyball before being injured, so this was not good. Let's say there weren't a lot of resources back then, certainly not what soldiers have today, said Evans, who pointed out that today's Army Recovery Care Program didn't come around until 2007. In 2015, I was a training specialist for the Warrior Transition Battalion, now Soldier Recovery Unit at FT Bliss. I had been in this position since 2008 when I got out of the military. I chose that because I didn't have the resources when I needed them, and I thought I would try to help other soldiers who needed help in transition to recovery. She knew adaptive reconditioning existed, but she wasn't aware of the competitive sports aspect. Quote, I was a reluctant participant. I accidentally fell into adaptive sports. I wasn't physically active for a long time. I was involved in meetings for adaptive reconditioning. We helped find soldiers for the Valor Games. Then one day, someone in the meeting said, Miss Evans, you're a veteran. You should go and compete. She laughed. The rest is history. Evans is proudly still working at the Fort Bliss Soldier Recovery Union. She's been able to mentor up and coming Army athletes over the years and says it's important to her. I take it to heart because I love giving the athletes the kind of help I received through ARCP over the years and continue to receive on my recovery journey. The working mom will continue to grow as an athlete and competitor while focusing on her recovery. The example of her determination is something she hopes will resonate with other soldiers going through hardships in their lives. Quote, it's hard to juggle family and life with your passion, but I know I cannot navigate life well without adaptive sports. Take it from me, it will get better. Never give up. You will surprise yourself. I really loved sharing that story. I thought it was so sweet and endearing, and I thought it really did capture what Invictus is all about. Yes, it is extremely competitive, and people win. Sometimes we have to go home and lose, and it's part of competition, but there are moments that are extremely endearing, and it's all about the community that's forged from it. And so I'm glad I was able to share that. And thank you to the person who sent that to me. It definitely resonates, and it definitely captures what I felt to be like the energy of the entire Invictus Games as I experienced it. So that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share. If you feel compelled to, don't forget to comment with your opinion, and I will see you next time. Bye.